Well, Jay Sekulow from the American Center for Law and Justice joins us. Jay, I guess the question they're asking is why now? Well, you know, this. What do you think? Why now?
Look, I think it was a culmination of a lot of events, but Pat, even yesterday and the day before, the director of the FBI's office had to correct once again false statements that he made to the committee. You can't keep doing this. James Comey set up his own demise by engaging in what I call selective disclosure disease, where he discloses about some investigations but then not others. And then the unprecedented interference into the election campaigning going on last year between Secretary Clinton and then candidate Donald Trump. Then you had the ongoing disputes, and it was clear that even the cases involving our clients in the IRS investigation and the fake investigation the FBI engaged in to root out that problem, so to speak. So you look at this as a culmination of events. A new Deputy Attorney General is sworn into office, confirmed 94-6 in the United States Senate. He did an analysis. He did a legal brief. James Comey had to go. The President of the United States, you know him well, is one that makes decisions. He made a decision. James Comey's no longer the director. That's why it's now.
Well, you know, that incredible thing where he laid out the case to indict Hillary Clinton, I mean, step by step, Tom, you know, and then at the end of it, he said no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case against her. He usurped the prerogative of the Justice Department in doing that, didn't he?
He did. He decided that he was going to become not the director of the FBI, but the Attorney General of the United States. And that is not his role. So James Comey, throughout the last several years, has overstepped his bounds, has not understood the jurisdiction of his office, has been derelict in his duties in that regard, and also, quite frankly, has engaged in political activities that are, in our lifetime, unprecedented. So I think what you have is a culmination of, years of problems. But then I think the straw that broke the camel's back is when the FBI had to go in and clarify once again the testimony of James Comey. And I think the FBI internally had enough of this. Externally, the frustration level. Remember, up until he was fired, the Democrats were calling him to be fired. Yeah. Everybody forgets that. Up until he was fired, the Democratic leadership was calling for him to be fired. Then when he was fired, they were acting like this is the Saturday Night Massacre under Nixon. It's absurd.
Well, you know, the whole question about his activities is just so strange that he would do what he did over and over and over again. There's just no excuse for that, is it?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I mean, James Comey, with all due respect to the office of the director of the FBI, did not do a good job. And when you don't do a good job and you're given chances to improve and you didn't do a good job again, you get fired. Here he had a 10-year term. He had 6 years to go in it. And this president, based on the evidence given to him by the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General, made a decision. And maybe what's shocking Washington right now is that we actually have a president that makes a decision. And the decision here was James Comey, for the good of the country and for good of the FBI, had to go. And that was the answer. And I think that was the correct answer and the correct decision. And all this obfuscation on this Russia investigation. First of all, you had Clapper and Sally Yates basically saying no evidence of collusion, no evidence that one vote was changed. They'll continue to investigate it. That's fine. But you didn't need James Comey there to do that.
Well, Chuck Schumer said we've, quote, got to get to the bottom of this. I mean, bottom of what? I mean, what? Nothing. There's nothing there, is it?
No. I mean, Sally Yates, who was a Democratic appointee, James Clapper, who served both President Bush and President Obama, both said they have no evidence of collusion. So, I mean, how much clearer can you be? I mean, the Democrats are so desperate for a narrative that they can't even make one up. Believe me, they're trying. And now they're going to go on. They're going to jump on the bandwagon of James Comey, and he was the hero. He wasn't.
Who might replace him? The deputy is tainted by the fact that his wife, as a candidate, took a big contribution from the sitting Democratic governor of Virginia. Is there anybody in the wings that they might put in now?
There's several names being discussed. McCabe is the acting. He was the one, but I cannot imagine him being put up as the Attorney General. I think that's a non-starter to begin with. number one. Number two, there are names being discussed. Trey Gowdy's one of them, the congressman from South Carolina, who's a former prosecutor, former Department of Justice lawyer, so has experience there, has been leading a number of investigative committees within the United States Congress. His name is being discussed. Larry Thompson, you remember Larry, former Deputy Attorney General under John Ashcroft. His name has been discussed by some as well. So there's a deep bench here. I mean, you could go to a former senator. Some people have talked about Kelly Ayotte, former Attorney General for New Hampshire as a potential. Others have talked about Rudy Giuliani. So we'll see. There's a deep bench. They'll get someone in there, and they've got to get this. They got to get faith and confidence restored into the FBI itself.
Well, one last thing. This whole idea of a special prosecutor, that's disastrous, don't you think? That they'd be out of their mind to put in one of those people.
Well, here's the question I'd ask, Pat. Special prosecutor for what? Yeah. The FBI is saying there's no evidence. They want to look at Russian collusion or interference. Well, do it. The FBI is capable of doing it if they could just go do their job instead of making unprecedented announcements every other week. So if they focus on their job, look at it afresh, do their job, I think the FBI can handle it. No need for a special prosecutor.
I've read the New York Times description of this, and it was so slanted, like the FBI is in chaos, that the individual agents are deeply troubled at the firing. And the other reports you get are that a lot of them think it was long overdue, that he should have been fired. Have you got any insight onto that?
Yeah, there was a tremendous amount of my friend Joe DeGenevo is a former U.S. attorney. He's close with a lot of FBI agents, former FBI agents and current, said that there was general distrust within the agency. And I think you saw that most pronounced in the public filing when they had to correct the director's testimony again. I think that was the camel, that's what broke the camel's back here. The straw that broke the camel's back clearly was the fact that they again had to correct the testimony. How many times can you do that and have confidence in the person heading your agency? James Comey's problem was he never acted as a director. He acted as a political appointee.
Jay, thank you so much. God bless you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.